right, welcome back to another episode of Confessions of a Recruiter. We're with Max Kozin from
Trade Plus Recruitment.
Did you think that was possible when you were working for somebody else, that like you could pull this off just by yourself?
No, I didn't.
Day one, Trade Plus. Can you remember what that feeling was like?
Yeah, it was very daunting.
Dude, we got to have you on our Hall of Fame, quickest first deal.
It happened within probably the first 3 days of
What?
me starting.
They self-screen themselves.
Pre-screen themselves,
They
yeah.
pre-screen themselves.
Yep.
They fill it all out, they submit it, and then it goes back into Loxo and it updates the CRM with their pre-screen.
Correct.
What was the feedback?
That it's pretty groundbreaking, so...
Firstly, Max, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
No worries. Now, we've got a little bit to unpack because your journey, I think, is really interesting. Your industry, your niching, where you recruit from, what your background is. So before we get started, let's just talk about how long you've been in recruitment. I guess, how long have you been like on the tools?
About 8 years.
And how many different agencies were you at?
4, and then on my 5th one now.
Okay. All right. So the industry Trade Plus. Trade Plus is your recruitment agency in Melbourne. Pull me up here if I'm wrong, but it's primarily labour hire carpenters.
That's right, yep. And it's also perm as well. It's probably a 50-50 split at the moment.
Really? You're doing 50-50 perm and temp.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. How long have you been running Trade Plus?
About 4 months.
4 months.
So
You're
very
a newbie.
fresh, very
Ooh,
fresh.
Yeah. I'm sure we've got some interesting stories to unpack in your first 4 months. I'm excited to do that. I guess I want to just start with your 4 months in business. How are you feeling right now?
Feeling really good, actually. Things are taking off. I've got quite a few clients at the moment. Got up to about 15 contractors out. Had a few perms this month as well. So it all seems to be clicking now.
We were talking offline just before, and you're running a labour hire, blue-collar recruitment agency as a one-man band. Did you think that was possible when you were working for somebody else, that like you could pull this off just by yourself?
No, I didn't. And specifically because of the insurances and the payroll as well, that's the biggest one. But let's say if you've got 15 carpenters, you have to have probably at least 100 to 200 grand in loans to be able to support that. Right. And that's not including, if your client doesn't pay on time. So I was very lucky to join up with X-Recruiter, where they do take care of a lot of that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do it.
We'll plug X-Recruiter in a moment. That wasn't my intention. But I just find it so fascinating that as a labour hire recruiter, typically you're kind of stuck on a really good desk that maybe you've spent 3, 4, 5 years in your case at Fetch, which is a great business. Spending 5 years building up your desk and making good money. And then you kind of get to this point where you either go into leadership. A lot of people don't like that because you typically earn less money, you've got more stress, more responsibility, or you just keep doing what you're doing. And if you change agencies, then you're walking away from this desk you spent 5 years building, which is, no one wants to do that. And then going out on your own, you've got to have, payroll, admin, insurance, all this kind of stuff, which as a blue collar labour hire recruiter, I can only imagine how limited pathways are available to you. So you're at Fetch for 5 years before that, before starting your business, and we'll kind of unpack how that journey was in a moment. But when you were there, did you ever think, there's a lot of, obviously you're getting a lot of support at Fetch. They do a lot of the back office kind of stuff and make sure everything runs well. Did you ever think you could go out on your own and run a labour hire business by yourself? No,
not really. To be honest, there was definitely a time where I wanted to do it, but again, the insurances, what you kind of mentioned to me, really put a dampener on things. But I'm really glad I made that move now. And now, since I've been doing it for 4 months, you build up your own processes, you build up your own systems and how you like to run things. And once that's established, it's relatively easy. You kind of fall back into the same as you were in an agency as well.
Is that hard? Because I think about when I started Vendito 10 years ago, and it's just a perm recruitment business, so a lot less complicated than a labour hire business. Obviously, labour hire business, you got rates, awards, payroll, you got a whole bunch of complexities that I definitely wouldn't have been able to get my head around if I started a labour hire business back then. Mine was just a perm business. But when I, like day one getting into my own business, I kind of sat there, looked at my screen, tapped at the desk and thought, oh, what do I do now? Like there's no process, there's no structure, there's no one telling you what to do. What was that like that for you? Like day one, Trade Plus, you're sitting at your desk. Can you remember what that feeling was like?
Yeah, it was very daunting. It was there was so much to get my mind around, and I think when you first start up a business, it's a really good time for you to set up all the processes correctly, because you can't really. It's hard to change processes a year down the track. So I remember the first month, I was just scratching my head. I was trying to learn, all the health and safety systems, payroll systems, and really understand them in depth, so I can actually set up a process with the way that I want it. And you do utilize the knowledge that you've gained over the last 8 years as well, because Fetch were great at teaching me of how to run things properly. So I had a good understanding of what that looked like, and then I just had to understand what systems I had, and then kind of put them together and put my own spin onto it as well. But first month was a lot of long hours just trying to figure things out.
Yeah, gotcha. What were some of the processes where you used to do one way, and then starting your business, you thought, you know what, I'm going to do it this way. I feel like this is the right way, the smarter way, the quicker way to do this. Like, have you got a few examples?
I utilize a system called Loxo, and what I've done is I've built out a form where if a carpenter or any type of tradesperson applies to me, they get an email and they fill it out, and it auto updates my database. So what that means is that now that if I get a job called in for the next day, I can go through that job. I can look at everyone who's available straight away and has the right tickets in the right area.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it made things a lot quicker. And I tried to do that for a long time with Bullhorn, but Bullhorn being quite a big legacy CRM, it was very, very difficult to change anything. I remember I tried to bring in a copy placement function that they had, and it took me about 6 months of going back and forth with them. Yeah.
So you've got your job, you post an ad, applicants come in, 50 people apply for your job. Let's say it's a carpenter in Victoria paying $70 an hour. They put their resume in, and then it auto sends them an email with a form to fill out. Yep. And it's essentially a screening, like a screening. They self-screen themselves.
Pre-screen themselves,
They pre-screen themselves.
Yep.
They fill it all out, they submit it, and then it goes back into Loxo, and it updates the CRM with their pre-screening.
Correct. That's
Dude,
exactly right.
What? How did you think of that?
Again, just looking at all the processes and being in recruitment, I understand where the pitfalls are, and I've done it for 8 years now, so I can sort of see that is, speaking to 100 candidates. Sometimes if I get a labouring job, it's 500 applicants. There's no way I can go through and speak to all of them. But it's something that I've always had in mind, and I always tried to optimize processes. So even from my job at Fetch, I wanted to bring this on board, but there was just no ability to do that. So when I found out that you could do this, I was very happy, and it's made things a lot easier for myself.
That's awesome. Like, how did you just think of that one day? Did you hear it from somewhere? Like, how did you know to intuitively get people to screen themselves?
So I did a programming course last year for about 6 months. I learned how to kind of do low-level software development. So when I looked at Loxo, I just had a feeling. I was like, there's got to be a way you can do this. And reached out, I got told that we can't do that. There's only the candidate registration form, and that's it. But then I found the form, and I was like, this kind of does everything. So then I kind of asked again, and then found the right answer.
Why aren't we rolling this out to all the have you IP'd this or?
But I have spoken to a few ex-recruiter people about it. So
have you shown them it?
Yep.
What was the feedback?
That it's pretty groundbreaking. So
dude, that's awesome.
I've showed it to Taryn, so I'm pretty sure she's rolling it out to everyone. So
what a great idea. Well, there you go. If Trade Plus doesn't work out, you can be like all of those AI automation experts in recruitment and help people with their processes. Okay, cool. So that's a really interesting case study around starting your business and then being able to do what you feel is the best thing to do. So typically I find it interesting learning about the experience of someone's, first month, second month? Was it what they expected? This type of thing. Starting a blue collar labour hire business with essentially no one in your database, no clients. Like, what do you do first? Do you just like put up a fake job ad, carpenter? You get a bunch of people apply. You kind of get some leads from that. Then you do some BD and say you got people. Like, I've never really understood starting a labour hire business from scratch. Like, what do you focus on first? Do you focus on the clients or do you focus on getting the candidates?
I never like putting up fake job ads.
I'm not saying you do.
No.
Yeah, that was an example.
That's just not my part of my process. So personally, I've got a pretty specialized niche that I know pretty much inside and out. So it's going to different clients in that niche and being able to show your expertise very quickly. And I think that's why it's important to have a niche in the first place. If you work with some of the big builders in that niche, you just have to name drop them. And, I know this site manager, I know this, I've worked with this, I work with similar clients to yourself. Just started this out. Is this something you're looking to do? And then hopefully pick up a job and then post an ad and go from there.
Okay, so you go for the clients first. Once you get some engagement, post the ad and then see how you can fill the role.
Yes, that's correct.
Gotcha. Okay. So what was like the BD strategy then? Because I can only imagine waking up, having your coffee, sitting there with an empty database of no candidates, no clients, not getting any like income essentially. So what's it like? Like, what's the first thing do you do? Do you just like market map? Do you go to all the people that you wish you did business with when you were at Fetch that you never did, and so you try and pick some low-lying fruit? Like, what is the process to try and get some clients?
Yeah, definitely market map first. And I used, there's a company called Firmable.
Yes.
So I've used them quite a bit. So you can be quite selective with the type of a business you want to find. Find the right ones, having a look at them online, seeing sort of if they look like the type of business you want to work with, and then reaching out to them after that. But again, it's sort of why I think it's important to have your niche. And then you can sort of speak to your experience very quickly in that niche because you have 6 years experience or 5 years experience in that. So you come across a lot more like an expert as opposed to just going in cold and completely unprepared.
Was there any method to your madness with your niche? Like, walk me through that, because I've actually had a conversation with a bunch of recruiters recently about their niche. And to be honest, like, it seems like some people don't understand what a niche is. So they'll niche in certain. How would I put it? Like, they would say that their niche is sales, which, in my opinion, is not a niche.
No.
Sales is a broad term that can be in any industry. So sometimes I get people say, "Oh, I niche in sales recruitment," but unfortunately, I can't figure out how you niche there. It's like you got to niche in like either a product or something tangible that you can like replicate. So talk to me about like your niche. Like, where did you start initially recruiting for, and then did it like evolve over time and iterate, and you got further and further into a certain direction of a niche, or was it just, did you always know what you're doing from day one, or like how did that evolve for you?
So when I first started at Fetch, I just did carpentry, and I was doing it across commercial, cabinet making, and residential as well. And I think that was something that actually held me back for the first 6 months because I was spread too thin. Then I've just had probably a bit more success in commercial and residential, and it's something that I actually enjoyed more as well. Like, I love construction. I love having a look at a nice architectural home. I like the big commercial projects as well. So I was kind of drawn to it as well. So once I got those two, I think we got another person on board, and I passed off cabinet making straight away. And then I just kind of, it's sort of, you have more success in certain areas. But the thing I like to do as well is that I always read up on the budgets. I always look at where the next potential market is. And I always evaluate my desk, and I always think about, this is how much time I'm spending doing this. Is it actually worthwhile? And where is the next construction going to go? How how things in Australia get built. So I always try to think about that, and then that's how I sort of stumbled into, minor commercial works is probably my strongest one, modular and high-end.
Yep.
They're all very intensive in labour, all get delivered generally by the same builder as opposed to get subcontracted out. So as you spend your time in like construction, you kind of see what the niches are and they start to appear, and then you just need to go more and more in depth.
I love that. So it's funny that you say that, because when you say carpenters, you would think that that's a niche. But then you said cabinetry, commercial, and what was the other one?
High-end residential.
High-end residential. But you were spread too thin. I would have felt like that's like not a big market. Is that a huge market?
It is a huge market, yep.
Wow,
yep.
Okay. So I guess you were doing a little bit of each. And then you started, did you start focusing on like what you had more of an interest in? Because I guess you would have come across a bit more passionate, bit more interested, bit more knowledgeable, and that's like the direction that you just kind of drifted towards.
Exactly, yep.
Light commercial, is that how you put it? Light commercial?
Minor commercial.
Minor commercial.
So like maintenance, any fit out under $1 million, smaller fit out projects.
That's a crazy niche within a niche, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, it's just understanding what your market is. So for me, once you look at commercial, for example, a lot of the builders, they actually subcontract all their work out. And then when you go to the subcontractor, they have pretty tight margins that they're working with already. So there's not really enough for you to come into. So what I try to find is someone who self-delivers. So for me, a company that has anywhere between 20 to 80 employees is like the perfect niche, someone who self-delivers. And those were the criteria that I set for myself to focus on. And it so happens to be that most of them are in the minor commercial space.
Cool. How do you find that? Like, how do you find that info? Like you said, Firmable before. That's like contact numbers. Do you do any research through Firmable? Like, is it that good, or is it just like a contact finder?
It can be quite good. So, but most of the time, honestly, it's just trial and error. Just looking at different companies, speaking to different candidates in the marketplace as well, talking to builders who they use as subcontractors. So it's just spending your time in the market will kind of eventually show you the niche.
The next thing I'm interested about is geography. Labour hire is notoriously geography bound. Like every labour hire recruiter I know, like does a certain geography either in the north side or the south side or that side or this area, that type of thing, because I don't know, maybe that just what makes the most sense for getting all the candidates. You're not like that.
No, I do it across states.
Yeah. So what are you doing there? Like, give me a bit of an idea on, you're recruiting in Melbourne, you're up on the Goldie doing client visits. Do you recruit in Melbourne though, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you recruit in Melbourne, Queensland, anything in New South Wales?
No, South Australia.
South Australia. Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to me about why you're going into states, because wouldn't that technically be like spreading yourself thin?
Once you understand your niche inside and out. So for myself, I've probably placed around 2,000 carpenters. So carpenters is something that I know inside and out. The easiest way to bring on new clients if your market is not as busy is going interstate. So I saw, in the last 2 years, South Australia has had massive growth. Brisbane has had massive growth as well. There's a lot of demand here, and I've got the knowledge to kind of fill that demand. It's easier to learn new suburbs than learn a new industry, is what I think.
Okay, I like that. That's going to be the tagline of this podcast. It's easier to learn a new suburb than learn a new industry. How do you do like client visits, health and safety, all that kind of stuff?
Health and safety you can generally do over the phone, but I do like to visit. So, for example, I'm in Brisbane and Gold Coast for this week. Just going out, meeting clients. And I think as long as you come once every couple of months, you can sign everything off, meet the clients, and then do the job as well as you can. And look, we live in a world now where you can FaceTime, you can speak to people, you can video chat. So there's a lot of technology that you can actually utilize.
Yeah, okay. Because sometimes you just, when you speak to people, they get a bit worried about health and safety. Like this is obviously a really big crucial, scary, unknown element and risk of like running your business. So what do you do for health and safety, admin, that type of stuff? Obviously being in labour hire, and you gave me a little bit of a hint on it off air. So talk to me about your admin process, because I find this very interesting.
Admin is something that I really need to prepare myself for. I'm not the best with admin, so generally I have to allocate some time, generally in the morning. I feel like I'm the freshest in the morning, to kind of set an hour or two aside. I like to listen to very upbeat drum and bass music. I feel like it distracts me from the work that I need to do and kind of just smash it out.
Is that because like you're just rocking it out, listening to drum and bass?
Exactly.
And you don't mind doing the admin because you're having a bit of fun?
Exactly.
Okay,
That's it. It gets you in the right mood, you know? Gets you in the right mood.
Yes. What about drum and bass when you're doing BD?
No.
No?
Too distracting. I like to build my environment to whatever I need to do. So if it's business and development, I like to stand up. I like to walk. I think my voice comes across way better that way. You know, there's a saying as well, if you smile, if you come in with energy, it does carry through in your conversation. But yeah, when you're getting deep into the admin, you need a distraction.
Running a recruitment agency isn't for everyone, but that's exactly the point. Most people who start one are great recruiters, brilliant on the phone, deep in their market, performing at the highest level. So naturally, starting an agency feels like the logical next step. But being a great recruiter and being a great business owner are two completely different skills. One is about placing people, the other is about building systems, managing cash flow, hiring the right team, and making decisions that compound over years. What got you to the top of the desk won't get you to the top of the business. The people who build agencies that last, that scale, that generate real wealth are the ones that are willing to learn a completely different game. We've helped over 100 founders make that shift from great recruiter to great business owner. And we don't just point you in the right direction, we back you with an entire in-house team across finance, marketing, branding, and partner success to make sure you actually get there. If you're serious about building something of your own, let's have an honest conversation. What about like where you work from? Like, do you have like an office? Do you work from home? Like, what's like your setup?
Yeah, I've invested quite a bit of time into setting up my office into an environment that I really like to work out of. So
I feel like you would have an awesome home office.
I do, yeah. And I have a nice plant in there that you sent to me,
Yes,
so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But no, for myself, I thought that was one of the most important things as well. It's somewhere I'm spending 10 hours of my day in. So I got myself a nice chair, nice desk, new desktop monitor. It's fully well kitted out, shelves, everything matches. It's all dark woods and leather. So once you come in, like you really feel like you're ready to work. Yep. And I think your environment's very, very important.
Yeah, 100%. So, okay, you got a really nice home office setup. That gets you dialed in, makes you feel a bit profesh. I love that. Does anyone have you ran into anyone that like worries about you being a one-man band?
No, actually, I don't. But what you do, like you can sort of phrase it in a way that makes it better, I suppose. The part of being with ex-recruiter is you're a bit of both. Like you have the backing of a bigger firm, and you've got the insurances, you've got the accounts team, but you also are by yourself. So it's just you that's actually going to be dealing with the client. And that's what I try to make as a selling point. I tell them that, the whole way through, you're just going to be dealing with me. I'm not going to pass it off to a junior. You're not going to, every single person that I put in front of you, it's someone that I've personally vetted. So I've got the 8 years experience, and I know a lot of other companies as well that I come across that might have a BDM, but that's not who actually does the work. So, and that's the point I try to make to clients as well. I'll tell them that I've got the experience in the niche. I've worked with all your competitors in the past. I'm the one that's actually responsible for it. And it's my business at the end of the day. So I'm going to be actually taking a lot of care into providing you a good service. I'm not passing it on to someone else.
That would be a huge value add, a huge sell. Because I just think about every time someone approaches me for whatever product, service, tool, technology, I sit there and I talk to the person, and it's so much nicer talking to the person who's got like their balls on the line, so to speak. Yeah. where you're talking to the guy who's listening to you, who's going to go away and come back to you with his idea on what he's going to do to solve your problems. There's nothing worse. And I used to kind of sell to this pain point of like hiring managers and business owners in the past, where you got the big agencies, you can only recruit in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, etc. And the contact that you've got is a national person. They've got people everywhere. You do a great job for them in Victoria. They go, hey, I need the same person in New South Wales. Can you just find me this do exactly what you did in Victoria in New South Wales? And you go, oh, I've got to hand it over to the New South Wales guy. Then they've got to build a new relationship, give them a new brief, explain a whole new thing. And it's like this big thing that like, it's annoying as a business owner having to speak to one guy. Then you get passed over to the next guy, and then they get passed over and got to speak to the next guy. And all of a sudden it's just like, it's just in the too hard basket. So the way that you put it there, I framed that question as that's a weakness, that you're a one-man band. Like, you know, how it's an insecurity, or like, how do you get over this kind of ejection of being a one-man band? But you put it in a way where that's actually your superpower. Is that, hey man, it's just me. I'm going to do exactly what you need me to do, and I'm going to deliver. And the person that you got to pick up the phone to is me. So that's awesome. So you've never found anyone that's gone, tell me about your business, how big are you, or blah, 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 or they have, and you've just gone, yeah, mate, it's just me. I'm doing everything, and I'll find you the guys.
Exactly. And, I was lucky enough to, have dealt with about 50 to 80 contractors at any one point in the past. So I know that I can handle it as well. And if the client needs it, I'll be able to deliver. And I said to them, if it gets to the point, I can't deliver it, I'll hire someone else.
Yep.
So I haven't had anyone come across that saw it as a weakness.
That's really cool. And so what about like objections? What are the biggest objections that you get as a new business owner? Or perhaps, and sometimes I hear this, that people almost respect you a little bit more because it is your business, and you kind of get a bit more dialogue, a bit more respect from people because it's, you're the man. Have you felt that, or like, what's your experience?
Yeah, I think Australian culture as well, I think is very positive towards people trying it out and giving it a go. So what I've found is that people have been really supportive more than anything. So when I was speaking to, I said, I've opened up, this is my experience. I've worked in your niche. Again, I sort of harp on about it, but I think it's very important. I've worked with your competitors before, and now I'm trying it out by myself. They would have had to do that at some point. Wherever the business is, when you're dealing with the director, they had to do the exact same thing as you're doing at the moment. So they do definitely have a lot more respect for you.
You feel overly, I guess, incentivized to just like help the dude that's having a crack. Do you plan on like running your agency by yourself like forever, or like I know you're 4 months in, so this might be a little bit too big. Like, let's just get through your first 6 months, your first 12 months first. But like, now that you're 4 months into running your business, kind of reinventing who you are, defining your own processes, like being your authentic self, and like really kind of hitting that potential that you mentioned, that, sometimes you just get to the point where you just you've hit the glass ceiling and you want to figure out where else to go. Like, how is that kind of self-development going? Do you see yourself growing a team, or is it like you're going to just crush your agency as a solopreneur, and you got passions outside of recruitment? Like, now 4 months in, like where's your mind at?
Yeah, it definitely goes between the two. I think what I've said to myself is that if I get to 50 contractors for over a month, then I'll look at hiring some support.
Okay.
But the thought of going through hiring another recruiter is quite daunting, to be honest.
What's daunting?
Hiring the wrong person, getting to the point and having to train them up. So it's something like I think I will have to do at some point, but I hopefully don't see it in the near future.
Would you get like a PA or like an outsourced person, or just someone who you don't have to like stack all these like pressures and obligations on too, but they can just like elevate you doing like what you do really well. Have you thought of that?
Yeah, so I'll get them to do more of the admin tasks. I'll send them my drum and bass playlist and watch them crush that admin stuff. So
Yeah. What if they don't like drum and bass?
it's part of the job.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, definitely some support when I hit that 50 for a month, and then see where it goes. Like it's not the beauty is that you can sort of move, and it's up to you to make that decision when the time is right, and no one's telling you what to do or how to run things. So we'll cross that bridge once we get to it.
Yeah. What's your goal in like your first 12 months?
Honestly, just keep doing what I'm doing at the moment. It's like I think I do have a financial goal in mind, but in saying that, like as long as I can have this flexible lifestyle that I'm having at the moment, have a bit of work-life balance, grow something, bring on really good clients. That's kind of what I'm focusing on at the moment.
Do you reckon you'll hit your 50 contractors in a month by the end of your 12 months? Because what are you on,
Yeah.
15 now?
Yeah,
15 now, 4 months in,
I think
8
so.
months in,
Yeah.
30, 12 months in, 45. And then obviously you'll ramp up a little bit at the final 12 months.
Yeah, no, I think I will. Yeah, towards the end of
That's
the
a
year.
shoo-in.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
amazing.
Yeah, there's a couple of bigger clients that I brought on that I know will be busy second half of the year, and a couple of them are publicly listed, so we'll see how it goes. But
Awesome.
I think so.
Good luck on that. That actually brings me to my next question. What are you going to do when you go on holidays as a one-man band?
It's kind of in the back of my mind, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I'll just leave it for the end of the year when things are quiet. First year, I'm not really planning to take any big holidays, but that's something that I know that I need to address at some point in time. But that's where maybe that sort of support will help as well. But I'm sort of, I do enjoy sort of working still a bit while you are away, and I think with enough processes and preparation, you can still head away for a week or two without sort of having to sacrifice your whole holiday.
You know what a lot of our partners do? They put an out-of-office forwarder on to like their partner success manager for the 2 weeks they're away.
All right, I'll write this down. I'll write this down.
100%. We've had so many partners that are like, hey, I'm going away for a week and a half. I got like some things like on the bubble. Can you just like monitor my emails for me? And they'll just forward emails over, and like our partner, because our partner success team, obviously, they're all recruiters as well. Yeah. So they can just kind of pick things up and be like, oh, yeah, you just start on this date. You're all good.
The good part about ex-recruiter is you have quite a few different partner success managers that have their own strength. Yeah. And Lou has been someone who's run a lot of tradesmen, and contractors as well. Yeah. So she understands exactly what labour hire is and how fast you have to act, and how it's all about speed and quality, and you can't sacrifice either.
When I was running my agency and I'm looking for support on how to run my business better, like the only person I could think of was Greg Savage. Because I was like on LinkedIn, and like Greg's obviously coming up all the time. I'm like, I need a mentor. I need to figure out what I'm doing. I got no idea what I'm doing. I think I was 4 months in, and I hired like 10 people. Yeah, and I'd never managed anyone before. Yeah. And I had 14 months recruitment experience. So I probably bit off more than I can chew. I cold called Greg Savage like one day, and I got him on the phone. I'm like, hey, Greg, my name's Blake. I run an agency. I'm 4 months in. I need a mentor. Can you mentor me? Greg turns around and goes, you couldn't afford me, mate. I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, but I reckon I've got someone that will help, someone in your position. That ended up being Ross Clennett. I found it really difficult. Ross was great, by the way. I did his 12-month leadership coaching one-on-one course, and I learned a lot about how to manage and train recruiters through that period, while I had 10 of them absolutely screaming at me day to day because none of them had experience. I had 10 rookies. Oh. Yeah, 10 rookies. Can you believe that? It was crazy. And because we're all 21 years old, I used to work out of my mum's office. And so she had a warehouse. So those warehouses with the mezzanine offices, and then they've got the warehouse out the back, kind of smallish, but do the job. So I was upstairs mezzanine, she was downstairs mezzanine, and then had the pickpackers out the back. And we got 3 complaints from the pickpackers for swearing and yelling too much. My mum had to come up and put signs around the office saying "Do not swear" because her pickpackers out in the warehouse were actually getting offended. So I just think back and go, if pickpackers are getting offended from us swearing and being on the phones and yahooing and doing all sorts of stuff, like obviously you've got some really big problems. But
what type of recruitment was it?
It was sales recruitment, perm, and I essentially convinced like a handful of my mates to come and work for me commission only. And so they all came and worked at Bandito. They had a 10K cost a seat, com only, and they got 50% over a 10K cost a seat. That worked for a little bit until the culture kind of degraded a little bit because, you know, everyone's kind of billing 20, 25K a month roughly as rookies, and it worked okay. And they were making like 12 grand, 13 grand a month. And so, you know, 21 making 13 grand a month, like you think
happy days.
You think you're a big dog.
Right? Yeah.
But then the internal culture got like a bit toxic in the sense that because I didn't pay anyone a salary, people kind of like decided to choose when they turned up and like how they behaved, and you know, technically, you know, well, mate, you don't pay me a salary, I'm here doing com only, so I can kind of do what I want type of attitude. So I understood where they're coming from because, you know, they're risking it all, and you know, I'm not really, like I'm paying tools and rent and stuff like that, but and then so I put them all on a salary, and then that killed me. I think I was having to bill like 80K a month myself just to pay for their salary, and then they all stopped billing. So don't make my mistakes. I share that because, you know, especially if you're being super sensible, you're growing up to 50 contractors, you're getting someone to support you, you're obviously doing it way smarter than me than I did 10 years ago. Within the next 12 months, you have your 50 contractors, you have some support. Like, would you have to get an office, or have you thought that far ahead yet?
No, they'll have to work with me. And listen, it's a really nice office setup. So
come to my
so
house.
It's
exactly. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Exactly. There's a barbecue out back and a fireplace, and we'll have a lot of fun. So
yeah, 100%.
I really don't want to grow too quickly. I think I'd be completely fine with being at 50 to 60 and just by myself as well. So I don't really have, and that way I can have a good work-life balance. I can manage things myself, have support when I need it, and work that way. Once it gets to that point, I don't know if things will change. And I think for myself, generally, I am very goal-oriented. So I always want to get more and more and more and more, and you know, aim for bigger things. But I think at this point in time, and where I'm sort of at in my life, I think I'd be fine with just having 50 to 60, you know, have reasonable work-life balance and a little bit of support.
Are you working long hours at the moment? Like, is the first 3 months like grind it out in the trenches, coming up for a breath every now and then, not seeing your missus as much? Like, what's it like?
It is a bit like that. Yeah. And especially because we all understand sort of labour hire, it's you have to be quick. You have to be, like, there's always time pressures. If you get a sniff of a job, maybe two other recruiters have as well. So you kind of have to not sacrifice your quality, but you have to deliver on whatever you need to do very quickly. So at the moment, it is a bit like that, but I do think that it's getting a bit easier. Now that I've got a few established clients that I've sort of proven myself to, I think that the first couple of placements are the hardest. But once you make those couple and they can see the quality, then you can sort of take a little bit of a foot off the gas.
It would have been a relief doing your first deal.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It happened really quickly. It happened within probably the first 3 days of me starting. It was about 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
dude, we got to have you on our Hall of Fame, quickest first deal.
Maybe. I'm not sure if I've qualified or not. But no, it was very quick, and I think that presented its own challenges because I had no idea how to put a placement through, how to sign up a client, and how to make sure the health and safety is all correct and make sure everything's right before they get paid the following week. So it was sort of baptism by fire a little bit, but I learned very quickly.
That's the best way to learn, though, because what I find is when people get started, obviously the way that you've done it and done your own processes, it's worked out really well, but a lot of people get like stuck in like process analyzing overwhelm where they can't actually do the job that they're meant to be doing because they're too busy thinking about, oh, the logo needs to be here on my terms of business or on my letterhead, or this should be on that side, not that side. And all of a sudden there's this like decision fatigue of like worrying about all the shit that doesn't actually matter. Have you ever felt like you were getting distracted with little things that you shouldn't get distracted in? And like, how did you pull yourself out if you did?
No, I think for me, especially with the design stuff, I'm like, it looks fine.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have a strong eye for design.
Dude, your brand looks epic.
Yeah, well, ex-recruiter helped with that. There's a really good team. Jamie did an amazing job. And once I had a chat with them about what I wanted, they just delivered. So I didn't really have to think about that. But I do understand that I've got a couple of mates that are starting their own agencies as well. It takes a lot of time. The branding side of things, the logo, the name.
They're starting their agency not through ex-recruiter?
That's right, yeah.
How's their experience?
Well, he's just doing a perm only. Both of them are doing perm only. And I think it's going pretty well so far. But again, it's, they're sort of waiting to release everything. So dealing with non-competes and all this other stuff. So they're a bit under the radar at the moment.
See, it's always interesting. Like, obviously, there's so many different pathways you can go down. Whether you do it with ex-recruiter, an ex-recruiter competitor, I don't even know who that would be. Would you know who? No. Yeah, neither. So there's so many options. Obviously, go solo, but yeah, it's just interesting hearing all these different people's experience getting started. Like, I know a guy who we've been speaking to for a while. He ended up obviously going out on his own, not with ex-recruiter. And he spent like $5,000 on terms of business. It took him 7 months to get his website up and running. And like, he was going without income for ages. All his runway was essentially gone trying to get the setup going, not even actually recruiting in his business. And he ended up just getting a job because he needed to save more money up and have this thing on the side. It was a bit of a tragic case, actually, but obviously there's successful stories on that as well. That's really cool. So did you ever think you were going to be a business owner, or has this always been like in the back of your mind that, one day I'm going to run my own business? Like, where did this kind of entrepreneurial spirit come from?
So out of school, I did real estate. So I did it for about 3 years, and that was very much like commission only. You get what you sell. So it was kind of running your own business. And when I was working in a recruitment company, I also treated it like my own business as well. So I feel like I was quite well set up for this move because of the last 10 years. I've basically been responsible for getting my own work. I've always done 360. But I think, again, the labor hire aspect is something that I really enjoy. I like the fast pace of it. I like dealing with construction. I like going out to site. So without ex-recruiter kind of providing that framework, I don't think I would have been able to do it.
So you've considered it in the past, but then just hadn't found an avenue, and now you have.
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome. What does like your partner think of you? Did she ever see you as like this entrepreneurial spirited business owner type thing? Well, I guess you're doing coding stuff, and so you do have that like natural curiosity flair about you to try things. But like, what's the relationship like with your partner now? Has running your own business, has it affected your relationship, or is it like made it stronger, or like what's like home life like?
Yeah, definitely. I think it made it stronger because we get to see each other a lot more. It's like we're working together.
Does she have a cool home office as well?
She does, yeah.
Oh,
I
nice.
have one room and she's got 2 or 3.
Really?
Yeah. That's right. So she's setting up her business at the moment as well. So it's we're in a stage at the moment where both of us are working on our own businesses, which you don't really get to hear with couples often. So it put us into a very interesting position. And again, we spend a lot of time together, which is really nice, and we kind of go through the same problems as well. I think when I brought this to her attention, she thought about it for a little bit, and she thought it was a great idea. She doesn't see anything wrong with it. She can see me succeeding in this as well, and she's been really, really supportive.
She must be proud of you.
She is, yeah. She is, yeah.
Well, you get a
she's
week
proud
off
of this
to go to the
podcast as well.
So. Oh, is she?
Yeah, that's right. She's wishing me a lot of luck.
Listener.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, shout out to her. What business is she starting?
She's starting a perfume business.
I remember you saying that over dinner. Yeah. That sounds awesome. We're going to have to get can she make the ex-recruiter cologne?
I will speak to her. Yeah.
Can she do something like that?
Yeah, of course.
Dude, I think that's really, really fascinating.
She's going to be running sort of experiences for perfumery. So for people to come in, learn about perfumery, it's very immersive, first in the world. Yeah, she's a trailblazer.
That is awesome. Good on her. Well, shout out. Well, if you want to plug her in, we'll when she does get, I don't know, an info thing going on, I reckon we've got to plug her on Confessions.
You'll have to, yeah.
What we typically like to do to like wrap up our podcasts is we usually like to ask our guests, what advice would you give to either yourself 12 months ago or someone who's in recruitment right now, they're grinding it out, they feel like they can relate to you, they've kind of hit that glass ceiling, they're not too sure what to do, they didn't know what options were available to them. Like, what kind of advice would you give to that recruiter who has hit the glass ceiling?
Just to bet on yourself. Like clients, you kind of think sometimes that it's the company, like you're doing well because of the company. You're doing well because of their name, because of the relationships they've built up. But in reality, clients and recruiters, it's a one-to-one relationship. So if you're doing well at the moment, you'll do well by yourself as well. And it's scary. It's scary to bet on yourself, but people respect it. And the thing is that you do feel different as well. Like you have a bit of pride about yourself. You're running a business. You're growing something. It becomes like a sole focus that you're so excited to go to work. You wake up every day with a smile on your face because you're building something for yourself. And that's something that no one can take away from you. And it's very, very different building someone else's business for them versus building your own business for yourself.
Mate, you said that beautifully.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been practicing it. So.
Well, Max, from Trade Plus, thank you for joining us on Confessions. I really appreciate it. Super insightful. If anyone wants to reach out, learn more about you, learn more about your story, are you open for them sending you a LinkedIn connection?
Max Kozin on LinkedIn and tradeplusrecruit.com.au.
MAX space KOZIN. Awesome. Thanks, Max. Appreciate it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.